Yeah, the forward defensive pressure was great, and I think that for periods of the game, it wasn't as good as we would have liked. The finish of the game was terrific. I think the fact that we had a few guys who couldn't come back on with knocks and bruises that we weren't prepared to put back on to finish like that was really good.
It's been a pretty much charmed stuff, I suppose, for you so far in terms of your coaching and how the team's going. It just seems like it's ticking along beautifully.
It hasn't really started yet. I think that you've got to put it in perspective. It's NAB Cup, and we haven't actually played a real game of football. So this is a preparation phase for us. It really is trying to prepare us for round one, and the boys, other than the score, the fact that we're trying some things which are working, and then we're trying some other things which aren't working, I think is a great education experience for the coaches, but particularly for the players, what works and what doesn't work. So in terms of whether what we're doing at the moment is preparing for the season ahead.
I suppose it's been such a massive summer, and then now you're through to the semi-finals of the NAB Cup. Is there sort of got to be a little bit of caution, I suppose, and I suppose I'm speaking to a lot of fans here, in that there's not massive expectations just on the back of the last 2 weeks?
I'd certainly hope there's not massive expectations. I mean, we've got internal expectations that we improve in every area, and we've done that in terms of the way we're training, and we see improvement on the training track. We've seen some improvement out on the ground, but I'd be hesitant, or I'd be hopeful that no one have great expectations on the back of 2 NAB Cup games, where Melbourne had a few players out, so did we. Last week, St Kilda and Brisbane had players out, so did we. So I think all teams are using this as a preparation phase.
That said, it's still better to be winning than losing, I guess. So what was probably the most pleasing thing for you?
I think getting games into our players that playing this new style of football that they're not used to. I mean, it's not revolutionary what we're doing. I think a lot of other clubs are playing the way we're playing, but for our group it's a different style. So the fact that they're getting time under game pressure, under the pressure of an opposition that wants to win, is the most pleasing side of it.
From the younger players particularly, how did you see them? Dyson Heppell was particularly good first quarter.
Yeah, Dyson was very good. Hibberd was good. I think, and Alex Brown when he came on was very good as well. So there's some guys that have just getting experience in AFL football, the speed of it, and all those 3 guys. Sorry, particularly Hibberd and Heppell. Towards the end of the game, they're cramping, they're struggling, they're not used to the intensity. So the more they can get exposed, the better. But we're also mindful that they're young kids, and we have to be very careful with their load over this year and make sure that we don't burn them out either. So we might look to not play them next week and rotate our squad like we did this week.
Does that surprise you a bit? Particularly Heppell, very composed whenever he
Dyson Heppell should be a very good AFL player. Now we've got to be careful not to put the weight of expectation on him, because Essendon supporters love their players. But he should be a very good player if he keeps doing the basics, he keeps turning up to training to train hard, and keeps listening to the coaches and keeps listening to the assistant coaches to play the way we want him to play. He's going to come out of hopefully a 10-year career having a very successful one.
James, what's the health of Courtney Dempsey and the rest of? Do you have any other injuries?
Yeah, we're lucky it wasn't a real season, because I think if we had 4 on the bench and 3 and 1 sub, we would have probably struggled towards the end of the game. Courtney's got concussion, heavy knock, but with an 8-day break, we're hoping he'll be fine. Jake Melksham copped a kick below the knee that cut and swelled, so that after half time he'd cooled down, couldn't come back out. Trying to think who else came off. Collier got a bruised hip, and as soon as it just cooled down and he couldn't come back on. Hurls copped a knock to his knee, sorry, just below his knee, to the tib-fib joint, I think the doctors are talking about. So nothing serious, but still, you've got to be careful with these guys, and if those guys are still sore this time next week, well, we won't play them, but we're hoping that all 4 of them will be okay.
Did you evaluate the performance of Paddy Ryder and Alan Davey? I thought both of them in particular were quite impressive for you.
Very impressive, and their pressure's great. I mean, the football, when you put pressure on and you chase them behind and you push up and you make sure that your opposition doesn't have time with the ball, somehow the ball seems to jump in your lap the next time. So we're just encouraging them to keep that pressure up, and I thought Alan's pressure generally is very good, and Paddy's tonight was of a high standard as well. So we were happy with their games.
James, you mentioned the rotations, and obviously the young players are probably, but clearly you'll bring Watson and Zaharakis and players like that back next week.
Yep, those guys will come back. Lonergan, Hocking, Watson, probably Zaharakis as well. We'll see how Gumlin pulls up. His preparation's been limited, so we might even just keep him training. I think it's important that we have a large squad that can play when they're ready to play, and we'll keep working across that squad. So we're not sure who our opponent is, but in terms of next week, it'll be, all right, how many games do we need each person to play, prepare for round one?
Mark Williams didn't have a stack of possessions, but a few little things he did were quite important. He's just going to be like a new recruit this year, isn't he, considering the season he had last year?
Mark Williams' performance is not based on stats, goals, anything. When he puts pressure on around the ball, when he chases, when he tackles, when he plays into our structure, he's a really important player to us, and he did that tonight. And I think that he's got amazing skill. We saw last night what he can do when he's got the ball in his hand outside 50. That's not what we're worried about, though. When he plays into our structures and puts the pressure on, he's a very, very important player for our team, and he's doing that, which is great.
And is he expect maybe having a partner in Paddy Ryder down forward? He started down forward. Is that something you're looking to do maybe a little bit more during the year?
Yeah, Paddy will probably play roles across the whole ground. I mean, he's an excellent tap ruckman. He can go to centre half back and he can play half forward. We're still trying to sort out what the best balance of our team is and who'll be available. I think you can't slot guys into position too much because a couple of injuries can throw you out. But we're happy with the roles Paddy played tonight.
So is that adaptability then? I mean, it's important for all clubs, but in terms of the game plan you're trying to implement, is that even more important?
It's important that you can compete in both ends of the ground, and in Paddy's case, in the middle of the ground, and he's doing that. Yeah, so it's important.